Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You can get a job in the Middle East simply by trying or by magic, through others or by fluke. Remember that competition is everywhere. Some here, some there, but bam! Loy Machedo is the best.
All right, in this video, I'm going to share with you why it is important to find out the one thing that you love. The one thing. It can be a skill, a hobby, something that you're so passionate about that even if nobody paid you any money, even if nobody uh, cared, you'd still do it. And why this might actually change your life. All right. So watch this video and comment down below and let me know what do you think. You agree, disagree? And yeah, please, if you have any tips, because a lot of people they read, and I feel they might sometimes get value with what you what you have to share. Anyway, if you're new to my channel, my name is Loy Machedo. I'm a personal branding strategist. I help people get well-paying jobs in Dubai, UAE, also Saudi, Qatar, Bahrain, Oman. And people book my services for coaching, consulting, or they take my advice. So details are put down below. Whether it's personal or professional, or you're in one of those phases in life where you want guidance. I have 7,000 videos. You can check what is my opinion and why people take my advice. Okay. So I'll give you a couple of real life examples. Okay, let's start off with me. Okay, let's start off with my own example. Right from the age of 16, seriously, right from the age of 16, I was always into, always wanted people to see me, look at me, look at me. Obviously ADHD, I loved attention. So I wanted people to notice me, and I loved talking at parties and taking the microphone and people listening. Bingo, they would play that game, or I like doing that. And lo and behold, I moved into being an MC, an anchor for shows, and I was not at all professional. I was not at all good, but I just loved doing it. Somehow, I guess people, bless them, they were kind enough to give me an opportunity, even though when I look back, I would say I didn't deserve any. But then again, I was not charging much money. So from there, I moved into DJing, that was entertaining people. So I was always there in the spotlight. And then as I moved further ahead, this went on for quite a number of years, DJing for amateur DJing for parties, and then a nightclub, Ajman Kempinski, which was in Dubai, in UAE. Ajman is one corner of the Emirate. And if you Google search Ajman Kempinski, it's a mega hotel that is at one corner of Ajman. So there only, the local rich guys used to come there. So they asked me to DJ there, play Arabic Irani songs. I remember Dabka and all that. I used to play Amir Diab, and I can't get his name. One Turkish guy, I think. Yeah. So I was always involved in that. And even though I was working for another job, that time it was Citibank, I would still, after work, I would take the time to do all these events, parties, functions. I just loved it, man. And for me, it was such a joy, even though I was making very little money. I was making $150 for the whole night, and I would end up sleeping at 4 or 5 or 6 in the morning, and then come to work looking like this. Yeah, my boss, he was always like, yeah, why don't you go DJ full time? Why are you coming to work? So I did that, and then I think from there, I slowly moved on to wanting to be a speaker, professional MC, host, whatever. I tried radio stations for literally 8 years, man. In UAE, being a radio jockey was a very big thing. Today, they don't give any importance to it. You can be a radio jockey, nobody cares a damn. I wanted to get into, I thought movies was the answer. But, eventually I realized, okay, entertainment, maybe public speaking. But then I got into Toastmasters, which was into public speaking, and coaching, mentoring, leadership. I got serious there. One second, huh? Just let me take a sip. Some irritation. So then I remember I started training people, coaching people for public speaking. And I kind of enjoyed that while also doing events, speaking on the microphone. But at some point, the transition took place from being a speaker on stage for entertainment to being someone who would offer value. Okay, who would offer value. And I think at some point I realized the amount of effort, planning, time, responsibility, and stress to do an event is quite a lot more than doing one to one. And events would not come very frequently. And I also knew that if you're too much in the limelight, people get bored of you. That is why in Dubai, the people who are MCs, DJs, if they see you every week, then like, not him again. They kind of get bored. What I realized was there was a market where I could train people, teach people, more or less the same thing which I was doing. I could either do it in the corporate world or I could do it one to one. And if you manage to get a wealthy client, what an event would pay you, which takes your whole day with a lot of stress planning for a week, this guy can give you that amount of money in just maybe a couple of hours of coaching session. So what I realized is this market of coaching, mentoring people, one to one, dealing with people who have money is much better than all that. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of fun in doing all those events, but here it was easier for me. Although the amount of work that I would do for an entire event, I could focus on one individual. And lo and behold, finally I think I got my calling. And then from Dubai, I used to have coaching classes in my living room. I used to do it in hotels. Eventually, to cut down costs, I started doing it in my living room in Sharjah. And finally, when I moved to Thailand, I had to take it online. So I was lucky that it worked. Today, if anyone asks me, like, what do you love doing? I tell them I'm doing what I love. I coaching, mentoring, talking, entertaining people, sharing my point of view. And I'm blessed. Seriously, I'm blessed that I get paid money for it. Okay. Now you might say that, oh, Loy, and you're lucky, yeah. Come on. I'll agree. Yes. But I'll give you three examples of people who where they did something not extraordinary, very ordinary, and they seem to be doing pretty well. I'll give you those three examples. Uh, this guy is not my client, but is someone who I knew right from the days in Dubai. Um, Obviously, I can't give his name because I didn't take his permission. I'm not in touch with him, so it's not right that I, you know, talk about someone. Some people don't like it. So this guy, nothing great about him. Simple guy, degree, working for a job, but he loved cooking. Right from a very young age, he would always cook. And I so remember, like, whenever I used to meet him, he was like, hey, you want to go to this restaurant? They show you how to cook. And, it's a nice dish. And if you want, we can make that later. So he always was, I was like, I don't want to cook with you, man. But he always wanted to cook. And he did extra courses at the side. He always tried to figure out how did they make this dish. And those days, YouTube was not there. So he was busy trying to decipher how did they make the food, and people didn't want to share their trade secrets. Okay. And this guy was so crazy about it. One fine day, and this is when I was working in the corporate world. Okay. One fine day, he just when we met up, he said, I've opened up a business. Like, wow, okay, that's very good news. You opened up a business. But then when he showed me his business setup, it was a very small little dingy, like a cafeteria, very, very small. And he was, okay, running the business, but he was also the cook. I was like, why this? And when he told me the amount of money that he put, I was like, man, you're going to fail. Yeah. This, I mean, what are you doing? He had a good job. Huh? He had a decent job. But he said, this is what I like to do, man. I decided, let me give it a try. I said, okay, fine, up to you. Because I was, remember, in the corporate world. So I always believed the corporate world was the way. So I said, fine. He did serve decent food. It was not extraordinary. It was very decent. And people would come in. And, obviously, you might eat there once, twice, but eventually, you get busy with life. After I think, couple of months or years, he one day got in touch with me and told me that, things are not working out. I was more like, in my head, I was thinking like, yeah, I told you so, no? It's not going to work out. Like, no, man, it's very tough here in Dubai. The rent is so high and so many regulations. Inspectors, municipality, they come and fine. And it's very tough. And remember, those days, there was no delivery, DoorDash, uh, you know, Panda delivery and this and that line. Okay, so none of it was there. So he found it very tough. Business was going loss after loss. And to my surprise, he actually decided to go back to India. Okay, so I was like, man, told you so, right? Yeah. However, after a few years, when he got in touch with me, and this is thanks to Facebook. And he said, hey, how are you doing, man? A long time. We are very happy to get in touch with each other because we knew each other from childhood. So I asked him, what are you doing? And then he surprised me again by saying, I'm still running a restaurant. I said, oh, you're still running. And by this time, I was more like, dabbling into being a freelancer. So I was very supportive of people who try to do something which they are passionate about or their own business. So he today, today, today means that time when I spoke to him, he has a restaurant in an area where he stays. And his restaurant is like right from the time he gets up in the morning. And remember, this is not a expensive city. This is a simple, like a semi-village. Right from the time he starts opening, like at 6, the restaurant opens. Right from that time, all the way till almost 8 or 9 in the night, he is busy with people. It's not it's not like a creme de la creme or expensive 5-star this thing. He serves the local people, but his food and his, you know, passion to create stuff is so amazing that people, instead of wanting to eat at home, they prefer to come eat his food. And he is so busy. He's so busy that he doesn't have time for anything. And he has, like, he didn't want to expand because, obviously it is him only. But he's very, very happy. Very happy. Okay. And I did ask him. At first, he was a little hesitant, maybe because we had a distance. I asked him, what was your turnover and this and that. But to my surprise, he didn't earn as much as he earned in Dubai, but he was able to save money. And now the family obviously got married and all that. The whole family is involved and he's very happy. He's his own boss. And it's only because he stuck to what he was passionate about. It seems he learned, and thanks to YouTube and all that, he learned more cooking styles, more dishes. So he constantly experiments. Obviously, he can't give something like live squid and all that, especially to the people of the village in India. But he gives more or less the Indian cuisine. And it seems that he's so popular in that area, people make it a point to pass by and eat there. And I could really sense from his voice that he was happy. So this was a second example. And today he's doing well. He provides jobs to a couple of people and he is his own boss. The second one was this guy. I don't know whether he survived COVID COVID in the sense his business survived, but this guy was a Malayali guy, South Indian guy, and I knew him when I started going to the gym. I used to go to the gym, and it was kind of cheap and affordable. And this guy, man, you won't believe he started off as a worker, as a cleaner, and he was, short, like 5 feet, couple of inches, but he was really big and thick, and he was very strong. Like he looked like a ball of clay or something. So he wanted to really, he loved bodybuilding. He was passionate about bodybuilding, and he wanted to, you know, run his business. So he was in Dubai, and people who are in Dubai, in Bird Dubai area, they would know this guy. That's why I don't want to take his name. He opened up, I think, 36 gyms, 36 gyms. But this was his undoing because he opened up too fast without making it sustainable. And obviously, he lost all his money, ended up in a massive crisis. And, again, this guy also had to go back. But then, after going back to India, he decided to move to another place. Um, just follow now, because I have not taken his permission. So, and in this foreign country, he once again, decided to follow his passion. But obviously, he had to get certification over there. In foreign countries, you can't just start a business without certification. Like in the Middle East, you can just open up a gym and anywhere. So he focused on certification, went to this country, and that is where he learned standards. He learned, because, when you're a bodybuilder in India, like you can just inject yourself with steroids and become big. So this guy, because he went abroad, and there he learned, certifications and all that. And he really, really gave his heart and soul into learning new techniques, improving on his English, getting certified properly. And he was so passionate about what he was doing that the owner where he was working for in the gym, he offered him partnership. Okay, initially he was pretty hesitant, but then he finally said, fine. And, they worked for some time, made money. And eventually, when he decided, okay, it's time to go, he made money. They didn't break up in a bad way. Okay. He got paid his equity, whatever. He went back again to his home country. And this time, with whatever he learned from there, the international standards, the certifications, he tried again. And this time, he is doing very well. He is a coach and, like gym trainer or whatever for a couple of rich people in his area. Okay, a couple of rich people. He runs his own private little small gym. He got a couple of investors. Like I told you, I don't know if he survived COVID because I was not in touch with him. Sometimes you lose touch with people. But he was doing fairly well. And I being in the same line of work as one-to-one coaching, I know if you really have a good list of clients, you can do really well. And he was, people were paying him a premium to buy supplements, steroids, customized coaching program, and coaching and mentoring them over different disciplines. So he was doing pretty well, man. So just imagine failure. Okay, he tried, he failed, went again failed, went to the foreign country. Finally, he found success, and then he went back to his country and did it again. And this guy also is doing what he loves. Last but not the least, this guy, his is a rather strange story. I don't know if he's successful. I'll give the disclaimer. I don't know if he's successful in terms of financially because his wife is pretty well off. Okay. So once again, I can't share his name. But this guy loved buying and selling. He loved buying and selling, and this is pre-internet days. He was working in an airline, And because he was working in an airline, and there were these flights, he was able to go to countries like Thailand. He was able to go to all these Asian countries, and from there, like Hong Kong and all that, and buy technology which was not yet released in UAE, and sell it to a very private, just imagine, like today we have Facebook groups. He had his own groups of people whom he would take their phone numbers and email addresses, and whenever he would come back, he would send them a list of all things. He even did some adult, DVD videos. Not he, means he used to get, so because obviously it was not available those days. Internet came a little later. So they would ask him that, or they would ask him, "Can you buy this? I don't want to pay, heavy duty and this and that." So he really took advantage of his position, and buying and selling. He had a very select group of people, which grew over the period of time. And yes, he was making his money, and obviously because his wife was rich, he didn't have to bother much. He was never insecure. Later on, due to health issues, because when you keep traveling now, your health doesn't support, he decided to focus full time into running his shop. Okay. Now, I did ask him, like, is it running well? He told me well, but he refused to give me numbers. But his shop is filled with things. Filled is not there. And he even has a warehouse. And he also does stuff online. Okay. Obviously, now the internet, you have Shopify, you can do multiple number of things. I'm not in touch with him, so I don't know exactly how is he doing. And it's very hard, because especially when a guy doesn't want to tell you. But he's doing what he always loved, buying and selling. He just enjoys knowing that I bought a product for $100 and I sold it for $150. Or he would refurbish something which is not working, make it better, and sell it for double the price. He just loves it so much. He made it his passion, and thanks to the fact that his wife is well off, he's able to do it. Today, I think he's nearly somewhere in his 60s, 60 plus, still doing it. And only thing, he hates social media, so he's not on social media, and it's very tough to keep in touch that way. He just hates. He's one of those old timers who hates social media. But you see the point I'm trying to tell you. I give you my example. Always doing what I loved, and what I naturally was inclined towards. That cooking guy, he focused on what he loved, even though it was not paying him. That guy, bodybuilding gym, he really loved that. This guy loved buying and selling and making a little bit of money. He had businessman syndrome in his blood. So my question to you is, I give you these three examples. And remember, I'm not giving examples of people who have become multi-millionaires, billionaires, and famous. Just normal people like you and me. Just earning enough where you can not only pay for your expense, but you also have savings, and you have a little bit where you can enjoy life. My question to you is, do you have that one thing? Do you know what you love? Do you know what you're good at? And if you don't, it's not the end of the world. If you don't, you really should spend time to ask yourself, what is that one thing I would love to do, even if nobody paid me any money, that I would gladly do it because it is relaxing, it is therapeutic. It is something that is so natural to you. It can be whatever. Nowadays, by the way, there are even people who, this guy, you can check his channel, Beard Meets Food. This guy makes a living eating food. He's a competitive eater. So obviously he'll eat like what 10 people eat, and he'll record this on camera, and he gets millions of views. He's like a celebrity. I think he has 3.2 million subscribers. I subscribe to his channel, Beard Meets Food. Check it out. He's just a professional eater, and he travels the world eating professionally. There are YouTube channels where people like, what's his name, Wes or something. He's a Thai guy, half American. He goes all around the world eating exotic food and all that. And then there's a guy with a bandana. I can't get his name. He travels to Africa where they eat forbidden stuff, and he goes to strange places. You can even make a hobby out of the food that you eat, you know? So I'm not saying that look at something and try to make millions and billions out of it. Maybe you can do it at the side. But my question to you is simply this. Do you have something that you love doing? Something that comes naturally to you? Something that if you develop can really make you really good, whether it's playing an instrument or drawing or painting? Because once you find that out and you're really dedicating time, effort, money, energy, everything, the next step is to figure out how you can commercialize it. Like these guys, the restaurant guy commercialized it, gym guy commercialized it. But buying and selling, anyway, it was commercial. Even what I did. And I'll tell you, at some point in your life, when you decide to leave the corporate world or working under someone, or you retire and you're able to do this, that is where the actual joy starts. So I would highly recommend focus on that one thing that you're good at. Whatever it is, focus on one thing and dedicate your time, your energy, your creativity, your learning. Invest in it. Learn courses about it. Try to become better at it. Try to freelance, customize it, put your creativity. And in a couple of years, as time passes by, who knows, you might end up being the best, or even if maybe not best in the world, maybe the best in your village or community, where everyone will only come to you. In fact, before I conclude, there's one guy here who's very good at fixing things. He's so good at fixing things that he set up his business. The whole island, people know him. He is now 60 plus. He fixes anything. You give him literally anything, he will fix it. Except obviously an Apple product or something like that. He's so good, like welding and fixing. Just imagine. He has built a brand on fixing things. So, and he's not one of those guys who has a website. It's just word of mouth. Everyone knows him. Even my speakers had a short circuit. He fixed it. You know, my earphones had some problem, brand new. He sorted it out. You know, so find out what it is, and I'll tell you, you will find the joy in living. Time will just pass by, and you will be grateful that you have that something that gives you a peace of mind. It's more like the love of your life, your baby. All right, this is what I wanted to share with you. I hope you get inspired to figure out what it is. And yeah, feel free, put your thoughts down below and let me know. What do you think? All right. Good, bad, ugly. Love to hear from you. You guys take care. This is me signing off.